Well, how many times have you purchased something to resell only for it to sit on the shelf and never sell? A wise man might say, well, buy better items. But how? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use sell-through rate to help you in making decisions on which items to buy. Hey there, I'm Courtney with Behold and Resold. I've been a reseller for 2 years, and I source items at a low price compared to their value, and then resell them for a profit. Calculating sell-through rate has saved me from bad buys a bunch of times. And on the other hand, doing it wrong or not at all has caused me or led me to purchase items that have just sat in my eBay store collecting dust. Stay with me through to the end, as not only am I going to show you how to calculate sell-through rate, but I'm going to talk about key strategies and how we can use that sell-through rate to keep you from those bad buys that never sell. There are 4 main puzzle pieces to sell-through rate that, when put together, will combine to give us the full picture of what we need to see. The first puzzle piece is using active listings on eBay. This will give us the idea of what people are listing the item for and how many of them are out there for sale. But what it doesn't tell us is if it actually sells and what it sells for. So to use this puzzle piece, we go into the eBay app and we basically just do a search. By default, this is what you see in eBay when you search for an item. So you search the item and you can scroll through, you can see how many are listed, and you can kind of see the prices that people are listing them for. All right, on to the second puzzle piece, which is sold listings on eBay. Sold listings will actually give us the prices that these items are selling for and how many of them have actually sold. But by itself, it doesn't really show you the relation to what's actually available currently. But to get to sold listings, if you're not familiar, you again go into eBay and you start just like you were going to the active listings. You search for an item. It'll bring up the active listings, which you've already done. So the next step would be to go into the filter and to scroll down in the filter to select sold items. And when you turn that filter on, the results that are shown now are ones that have actually sold in the last 90 days. So you can see how many have sold of this particular item and the prices that the item are actually selling for. All right, well, we're halfway to completing our puzzle. The third piece that we need is to know what sell-through rate is and how to calculate it. So sell-through rate is basically the comparison between the number of sold items compared to the number of items that are available. And the calculation would be taking the number of sold divided by the number of available and multiply that by 100 to get your percent. So let's say we had an item that we looked it up and there were 40 sold. There were 40 of that item sold, and we look and we see the active listings, there's 80 active listings. So to do the calculation, we take the number of sold, which is 40, divide it by 80, which is the number of active listings, and that gives us 0.5. We multiply that by 100, gives us 50%. So that item has a 50% sell-through rate.
Well, what is a good sell-through rate percentage?
Well, that is a great question, mysterious voice. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, if you don't mind, if you're liking this video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so and become part of the community. All right, let's continue on. And finally, the last piece to complete our puzzle is analyzing the sell-through rate. That's what we've been working towards this whole time. So if you remember earlier when I was talking about the eBay sold listings, I'd mentioned that it shows what is sold in the past 90 days. So what does it mean to have a 100% sell-through rate? Well, with the 100% sell-through rate, since you'd have the same number of sold listings as you do current listings, then that would mean that if priced correctly, all those items would sell in the next 90 days. If you had 50% sell-through rate, that would mean only about half of them would sell in that 90 days. So the lower the sell-through rate, the longer it's going to take theoretically to sell that item. And if you ever find an item that has more than 100% sell-through rate, well, that's a pretty good one to find because it's more than likely going to sell very quickly if you price it in the appropriate range. So should you ever buy an item that has a terrible sell-through rate? It's a great question. It's probably a different answer for each person, just depends on their reselling style and the type of risk that they want to take. If it has a terrible sell-through rate in general, that means it's going to take a long time to sell. So the three things that you need to consider are what's its price, what's the profit, and what kind of space is it going to take up. So now that we've covered how to calculate sell-through rate and the main benefits that it gives us, one might ask, are there any disadvantages to it? Well, there's a couple that I can think of. One would be the time. It does take some time to look up sell-through rate, and although you get quicker and quicker the more that you do it, there might be some situations that you're in that the time that you're taking to look things up, you could be missing out on other items. If there's other resellers, whether you're at a yard sale or a thrift store, if there's other people that could be getting items that you're not getting to because you're looking up one particular item and you're looking up each one, that could be a risk that you have to decide how much you're willing to take it. So the second disadvantage I can think of is awkwardness. Now this might not bother some people, but for others, standing there looking something up on your phone could feel a little awkward. Say you're at a yard sale and you're the only one there other than those that are running the sale. And you're looking at their items and you're always on your phone. You could feel a little awkward wondering, what do they think? So it really doesn't matter what they think, but it could still feel awkward. And in some situations, you may choose to not look something up just to save the time and save the awkwardness. All right, so we've covered sell-through rate, what it is, how to calculate it, how to use it, what are some of the disadvantages. Let's go ahead and go through some practical examples. I'll take you through 3 of them, how I would go through looking up what the sell-through rate is, and how I make that decision on whether or not I would buy it. So let me go ahead and pull up the eBay app, and we'll go ahead and figure out which of these are a good buy and which maybe not so much. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the first example of calculating sell-through rate. And we'll go into the eBay app, and we're going to search for Lego 71233. Search for that. You'll see it's this Lego Dimensions Stay Puft Marshmallow set. And if you notice at the very bottom right here, there are 67 current listings. So, and if you notice, some of them are brand new, still sealed in the box. Some are used. Some are in lots with other figures as well. So sometimes you have to take that into consideration. But we're just going to keep it basic. So we'll say there's 67 current listings for this item. All right. So step 2. We're going to look up solds. So we're going to go to filter, scroll down till we see sold items and turn that filter on. And we see that there are 147 results that have sold in the last 90 days. So that is a pretty good sell-through rate. But let's go ahead and actually calculate what that is. All right, so if you remember our calculation, we take the number of sold, which was 147, and we divide it by the number of current listings, which was 67, and that would equal 2.19. So we multiply that by 100, and that is 219%. So that is a pretty good sell-through rate there, which is the reason why I picked this up. I saw this on Facebook Marketplace. Someone was selling a bunch of these figures. A lot of them were still sealed like this one, and I picked it up and it sold pretty quick. Okay, let's go on to example number 2. So we are going to clear this search, and we are going to search for Saturday Night Live Trivial Pursuit. I found this at a yard sale a year or 2 ago. I don't remember. It's been a while. Okay, so the first thing we see again at the bottom, whoops, didn't mean to click on that. If we look at the very bottom here, it says 1,000 results. So there's 1,000 current listings. All right, that in and of itself isn't bad, just depends on how many are sold. And so when you look at here, it actually says 1,000 plus results. So there's actually more than 1,000, but we'll just say 1,000. And we're going to go in and look at solds. 26. 26 of these have sold in the last 90 days. And there are currently over 1,000 listed. Without even doing a calculation, I know that that's a terrible sell-through rate, but let's, for the sake of calculating, let's calculate it. So 26 sold listings divided by, we'll just say 1,000, even though it says 1,000 plus, since we don't know the exact amount. 0.026. So if we multiply that by 100, some of you can do that mental math, it is 2.6. 2.6% sell-through rate. That is garbage. So I did pick this up at a yard sale, like I said. I believe it was 2 summers ago, and it was brand new sealed. And so I didn't even think to look at it. I was like, oh, it's a game. I think I picked it up for $2 or $3. I'm like, sure, that should be a good game. And it was only when I got home and looked it up that I found out not only is that a terrible sell-through rate, but even like brand new sealed, they sell for next to nothing. So I should not have picked that up. All right, let's go on to our third and final example. Clear this search out, and we are going to search for neat desk ND 1000. So this is a pretty cool little scanner that I found at a thrift store. An open box item, everything inside of it was still sealed, so I don't think it had ever been used. But anyway, again, we'll look at the current listings, and we see here it is 309 current listings. And let's go ahead and look at solds. 334 solds. It's not bad. So if we calculate our sell-through rate, that would be 334 divided by, all right, what was the, so if we hit reset, it'll go back to that, so 309. Divided by 309 current listings gives us 1.08. So we multiply that by 100, and we get 108%. So that's a pretty good sell-through rate. And definitely one that you would want to pick up, assuming you can get a good deal on it compared to what it sells for. So in the comments below, I would love to hear a story of a bad buy that you've had that maybe you could have avoided if you had used this strategy. So next time that you're at a thrift store or a yard sale or however you source your items, calculate the sell-through rate and see if that helps you avoid a buy that you would have regretted later. And or maybe on the opposite side, maybe you looked up the sell-through rate and it was that 100%, 200%, or even higher, and you grabbed that thing up as quick as you could because you knew it was going to sell quick. I'm just starting to resuscitate this channel, so at the time of this posting, I only have a couple newer videos. But if you want to see some of my earlier videos from my first year of reselling, go ahead and check some of those out. I have liquidation mystery box unboxings, yard sale videos from my first year in 2022. So go ahead and check those out while I work on creating some new content and releasing some new videos for you. And until next time, keep on flipping.